In this assignment or this video, you're going to learn how to take your flash fiction and change it into a media presentation using Google Slides. So first, you're going to get to your assignment. In Google Classroom, when you open your assignment by clicking on it, you get this option to view assignment. Now my version is different because I'm a teacher, but when you click on this, you get into the assignment and there's a button where you can create. Please create a Google Slide document. So you'll have something like this once you start creating one. Then we want to import the picture that you're going to use. So let's use as an example the picture, let's use this one. So I'm going to click on this file that you guys have in your, I think we have it in your posts for the week. If not, I'll put it up there. I'm going to right click on that and copy it. And then in my slide here, I'm actually going to get rid of these boxes just to tidy it up because I'm not going to use them. And then I just paste. You're familiar with that. Now let's take it a step further. I'm going to make sure it goes all the way from one corner to another. But I see here I've got extra space. I can't just stretch it out because it will warp the picture. See, if I do that, then suddenly she looks a little bit funny, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo. That's not the way I want to approach this. Instead, I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to look for those red lines to center it. And then I'm going to right-click over here and change the background. If I choose a solid black, then that helps it blend with the photo that we've got here. If you're looking for that wow factor, we can actually color match, but you need to install an extension. You would have to go into the Google Store or the Chrome Store, and you would have to get this extension, ColorZilla. Once you've installed it as an extension, you can do Color Picker. Oh, wait a second, that's not quite it. Pick color from page, and then I need to hover over the picture and pick this color. And you'll see up here it said copy to clipboard. So now when I right click here and I decide that I want to change my background to a specific color, I can go down to custom. I can delete this and right click and paste in the exact number that my color picker found. And you'll see now that the blend is a lot smoother. So you've now learned how to create the background and how to import that picture, and you've been reminded not to warp it, to pull from the corner, not from the side, because the side will stretch it and make it unrealistic. Next, I would like you to put in a banner. So we're going to go up here to shape. We're going to insert a rectangle, and we're going to stretch it across like this. I actually want mine to be a little higher than that so we don't cut off her head. And I need this to match as well. So I could go up to the fill right here and just try and ballpark it, and that is really quite close. Or if I've got this ColorZilla extension, I can do the page, pick from the page and go down to this right here, copy that one, which it has done automatically, and then go into fill color and custom it. Paste again, and now it's going to match even more exactly. If I double click in there, I can put in text. And here's my title. Next step, to make your layout a little more appealing, definitely need to play around with this font. This is very bland. We need it centered because it needs to be right in the middle here where our focal point is. We can also make it a little bit larger. Magic needs a different feel. That font does not make us think magic. We will try this one right here, but definitely needs to be larger, much, much larger. At least something like that. Now, if I want to get really fancy, I don't know, I might be able to change that text color to match that background again. I'll let you guys play around with that. Let's see if I did that. Text color, you can do custom again, and you can use that color matcher. If you're able to use the same sort of tones throughout your work, then it's that higher level of design because there's that attention to detail. Next, we need to add another slide and make sure that we're coordinating the colors in the font. So if I go up here, I can add another one. I'm going to change the color of the background, except I need to have that color from before. So I might just instead get rid of this one and just right click and duplicate the slide so I already have the proper color for the background. I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of the picture, and there we go. I'm going to put in my text box. I want it to be the full screen, and I'm going to put in the text that I should have from actually writing my flash fiction and getting the feedback from the teacher. So we're going to assume that you've had yours marked and you've applied the feedback so your writing is stronger. We're going to copy your improved text and we're going to paste it in here. Clearly that does not look polished. So we'll select it all. We're going to change the font. I'm going to need something like white on this background. So I go up here to text color, change it to white. I also need to get rid of the highlighting that's on there. Change it to transparent. That's better, but I'm also going to need a font style that's more appealing, and if possible I might want to change this color to be the same colors as what we have on the previous screen, as long as there's a good contrast. So I'm going to pause the video so you don't need to watch that, and I'll make those changes. So you'll see now that I took the same text font that I had over here and I used it for this. I had to make it much larger. This is actually a pretty difficult font to read, so it needs to be quite large in order to make it easier to read. I might have instead played around with the style and made it something a little bit fancier, but not quite that fancy, so it's kind of in the same theme. So maybe something like this that might have been a little bit easier to read, not quite as cursive. That's an option for you. Don't feel that it has to be exactly the same, but it should somewhat relate. It shouldn't be a very different font. I also took the color from over here, but when I did my color matching, I chose the lightest shade within this in order to make sure the contrast here was really light. I'm going to do a few other samples for you. Actually, I can flip over to them right here. You'll see that on this one, I tried making the background having the lights like this. I found that the text was actually quite difficult to read. So if I take this out, you'll see that there's a lot of busyness in the background. You need to avoid that. So you can put in something solid like this, but you might want to make the color matching a little bit better. Another option is this one. I put the picture from before in, but I changed the formatting options. I recolored it a little bit, and I might have made some other adjustments in here to try and dim it down. The brightness, I think, I'm just not sure if that was in adjustments. Yeah, the transparency and the brightness I played around with a little bit, but again, it's not quite as strong a contrast as what we have here. This is much easier to read. That is something that will be factored into your grade. Make sure it is definitely easy to read. There are a few other things that I want to show you as other options if you're looking for more of that wow factor. So again, I'm going to clean this up by taking those out. This time I'm going to use another picture that you're using for your writing, and I'm going to paste it in here. When I go to stretch this one, we'll see that it really doesn't fit. But I don't want to put a solid color behind because clearly it will not blend well with a photo like this. So instead I'm going to right click and I'm going to crop this image. I'm deciding that I want to take off the bottom because the bottom's not really going to help me here. I need this. This is the most mood establishing part of the picture. And then again, I'm going to pull from the corner because I don't want to warp the image. I like the blur, but I don't want that warped feel. I'm going to have to crop a few more times in order to try and get that ratio just right. Crop again, bring it up just a bit more. And I can actually pull it off the corners if I want, and that will still work. Now, instead of putting in my rectangle, I'm going to play around with a different idea. I'm going to try something like this. And I'm placing it here because it's really this blurred effect that I want them to have. And I don't actually want to give away who it is down here. So I might even reposition this a bit because I want that air of mystery. I want things blocked out. going with that air of mystery, white is not achieving that. So I'm going to change my fill color to black. If I want to spend more time on it, I might actually color match it to this one. Actually, I can do that really quickly. So let's try it. This right here. And then when I go to fill, I do my custom. Oops, I wanted paste. I will skip that so you don't need to watch it, but you get the idea. If I double click in here, I actually have a cursor, but you can't see it because it's black. And forgetting what I called this before, Time Master is what I wanted. So Time Master. Even if I make this bigger, I need to, oops, grab that text, there we go. And I need to make it white or something like that. Actually, you might want more of this tone here. Something like that. I am going to need it to be much larger than this. There's wasted space here and wasted space here. So I'm going to change both the size and the font. Time Master, I want them to think computers and that sort of thing. So I need a font more like this. And I really do need it large. There we go. And I'm going to center it because off to the left looks a little bit funny. Centered seems like it's more design given to it, more thought given to it. Now on my next page, I still want that blurred effect. I'm not going to get that with a solid color. So I'm going to take this picture again and right click to copy it and right click here to paste it, but I don't want the whole thing. So I'm going to crop it again to get more of the feel. I get more of the feel of it from this section right here. Crop again. I need to click off. There we go. And I'm going to drag it down a bit more until I make it past there. Okay. Now when I go to put text over this, I may find that it doesn't work all that well. So I'm going to show you some format options. Making bigger changes like this will improve your overall grade because you're really taking things a lot further with your design. Maybe I want this sepia tone or one like this. You get the idea. Now you do need to make sure that your text can stand out well against this. This is a really tricky one to work with because it does have black and it has white. So you definitely need to establish more contrast. I'll just show you when I played around with it more with another one right here. I was able to use this color that came from this section of the picture right here. So it was still with that design. And you can read this one pretty well off of this background, but you do really need to give thought to that. A bright fluorescent sort of color is not easy to read and it does not feel like design. It feels like somebody just picked something randomly. It is difficult to read and that is not something that you would want in your publishing. When you feel like you are done, please make sure that you look through the assignment sheet, that you've checked off all of the things on the checklist, and feel free to check in with the teacher as well to get some feedback on how to make your work even stronger before you hand it in.